You take any fat loss drugs in history, majority of them have one major problem. Yes, of course, they reduce the appetite, but at the same time, your body slowly fight back. And your metabolism would slow down, and your fat loss would plate you at one point, and your energy would crash. And the moment you stop using the drug, and many people have seen that they regain the weight that they have lost also. But now the entire industry and the scientists are talking about a completely different generation of fat loss peptide. And that's the peptide that's not only reducing your hunger, unlike your, semaglutide or terzepatide, it is also improving your insulin sensitivity. But at the same time, it also increase the calorie burning itself. That means your energy expenditure is also taken care. And that peptide is what retatrutide. It is also called as Reta, popularly known as Reta. So today in this video, I'll be explaining you what retatrutide actually is and why is it creating massive excitement in the medical and fitness world, and why people are even started using now itself despite it is getting approved by FDA, even though it's under research stage and used only for research purpose, but people are getting massive transformation because of that. And also, how is it different from Ozempic or your Mounjaro or the Tirzepatide, and the real science behind its metabolism boosting effect. And most importantly, I'll also briefly mention the risk that you should not ignore when you're using this Reta. Okay, so let's try to understand the evolution of fat loss peptide. So that will give you an understanding about how this is actually working. So the first one that we need to understand, that the first stage of the weight loss drug, right? That is the semaglutide. Drugs like Ozempic or Wegovy, if you see, and that mainly work through something called as GLP-1 receptor agonism. So GLP-1 receptor. So in simple terms, they activate GLP-1 receptors in the brain and your gut. And once this get activated, what happens is you feel less hungry and you eat less food. So when you feel no hunger and you don't eat food, naturally you lose weight. That's the process here. But this is not a healthy loss of weight. Your digestion also slow down and your cravings will reduce. So normally people, you lose weight because you don't have hunger, you are not eating anything. Eating nothing and losing weight is not healthy actually, right? But the issue is the downside. If you see, your digestion also slows dramatically, and because of that itself, many people, I've seen that they experience nausea, bloating, constipation, vomiting, fatigue. So semaglutide work, but you need to understand how it works. It is working by reducing your hunger. You're not eating, and that's why it is working. So this is normal case. Second is slightly advanced. That is the tirzepatide. So this is like, if you compare it with semaglutide, it's a huge leap forward. Even higher version is retatrutide. So terzepatide, it work basically based on two dimensions. GLP-1 plus, that we have already discussed. GLP-1 is there. Along with that, GIP receptor agonism. Now GLP we already discussed. GIP is very interesting because GLP is reducing your hunger. GIP is improving your insulin sensitivity. It reduces your fat inflammation and it improve your fat metabolism. And also it reduces nausea, which has been caused by use of pure GLP-1 drugs. And that's why many people tolerate tirzepatide better than semaglutide. And there are studies, massive studies and real experiences where we have seen that the greater weight loss with fewer side effect compared to semaglutide. But after that, the next stage is what, retatrutide. But even in tirzepatide itself, it's not just reducing your appetite, just like semaglutide. It is increasing your energy expenditure also. That means your body is burning slightly more energy. At the same time, you are eating less food. You're eating less, you're burning more energy. And that is what happening in the second one. Now comes to the third one, Reta. Reta is working on three receptors. GLP-1 is there, as we discussed in semaglutide. GIP is also there, as we discussed in terzepatide. So GLP-1 plus GIP is what terzepatide. Now here, the third one, that is glucagon receptor. And this component is the real game changer. So what glucagon normally do is, glucagon is considered as a fasting hormone. That means when blood sugar drops, glucagon tells the liver, release the stored energy. So basically, it helps to prevent low blood sugar during your fasting. But inside retatrutide, something very interesting happens because GLP-1 and GIP are already helping to control glucose. Now the glucagon pathway get redirected more towards the fat burning, thermogenesis, and energy expenditure. So the energy expenditure is going to be controlled here in a much better way. So now reducing appetite on one side, insulin sensitivity on the other side, and a better energy expenditure on the third side. So the body start becoming less energy efficient. And this is one of the most powerful concept of modern obesity science. And behind that only Retatrutide is working. So this is a complete metabolic cheat code, right? See, one of the biggest problem during your dieting is the more weight you lose, the more your metabolism adapts downward. And that's what called as adaptive thermogenesis. Your body become more efficient also, and it burns fewer calories because your body realizes that you're eating less. And that's why fat loss become harder over a period of time. But when it comes to Reta may partly counter this process. Now, how is it done? Through something called as mitochondrial uncoupling. Now, don't get this term scared with this term. I'll simplify it. Related to mitochondria, there is something which is very interesting also. That is what we call as the MOTC. That is a different peptide, entirely different function. I'll be discussing. Very important. That's something which we need to combine with Reta when you're using it. So mitochondria uncoupling means mitochondria means inside your cells, you have mitochondria. So these are basically the energy factories of the body. And normally food get converted into ATP. ATP is what the usable energy, and that's the function of mitochondria. Okay. But during mitochondrial uncoupling, some of that energy gets wasted as heat, right? What does that mean? Your body literally burns calories inefficiently, almost like the engine is running hotter. And that is why many researchers are also excited about retatrutide. In Reta, what is happening is, unlike the other drugs which we have discussed, semaglutide or tirzepatide, they mainly suppress appetite, but Reta is also increasing the metabolic output, and that's the massive difference. But don't think that this is like a exercise in a bottle. You cannot simply consume Reta and stay idle. You also need to have exercise, your muscle training, your strength training, weight training, proper sleep, proper nutrition, proper discipline. But scientifically speaking, Reta is probably one of the closest thing that we have seen to the drug that affect all the three together: appetite reduction, that means hunger reduction, insulin sensitivity, and also energy expenditure simultaneously. So all the three is happening together. Semaglutide, only appetite. Tirzepatide, appetite and insulin sensitivity. Retatrutide, much advanced, appetite will reduce, insulin sensitivity will increase, energy expenditure also will be there. And that's why many people call it as the next generation obesity drug. It is still under trial, still under research, but many people I know, many of my friends, many people are using in my circle also. So the result is so amazing. And of course, it is not yet approved by FDA, but still it looks very good. Again, if you combine it with MOTC, that will give you more added advantage. MOTC I'll discuss in a different video. Now, you need to be very careful about something which is related to muscle loss also. Because when you are using GLP, normally it's a fat loss drug, right? But a significant percent of total body fat come from lean mass also. So when you're using GLP-1 simply, you're losing muscle mass at the same time fat. Both you are losing. And that is where many people make the biggest mistake. See, people get obsessed with weight loss, right? What ideally it should be is we need body composition improvement. So what we need is muscle should be preserved, fat should be lost rather than losing muscle and fat, right? Or losing muscle. What we need, muscle should preserve, fat loss, because losing fat and muscle is a very different, completely from when you're losing fat while preserving muscle, because muscle is incredibly important for all functioning, whether it is your metabolism, whether your insulin sensitivity, whether your longevity, your strength, your recovery, your hormonal health, your anti-aging, aging quality. For everything we need muscle. So what we need is we need to preserve muscle and we need to lose fat. Don't lose both of them together. Along with losing fat, if you're losing muscle also, then entire purpose is gone. So if somebody loses massive weight rapidly without enough protein and without enough resistance training, you feel like becoming very lighter. But metabolically, you will be weaker. This is not the goal. This should not be the goal. So you need to preserve your muscle and lose the fat. So if somebody is using these medications and losing both, that's not a good idea. What we need is proper intake of protein and proper strength training so that you will preserve your muscle, proper sleep and muscle preservation. This becomes absolutely critical, and Reta will do that. Reta inherently will protect your muscle and help you to lose your fat. Be very careful with that. There can be some side effect like increased heart rate, nausea, GI issues when you're using it, gallstones, pancreatic risk is there, skin sensitivity is observed in some people also. But see, a lot of people I've seen online, they're trying to get Reta unofficially. Only issue is that it's done for research purpose. Are you getting a contaminated one or are you getting a fake one? You don't know. If you're getting 99.9% pure one with a proper certification, then it is good, even though research purpose, but no one want to do research on their body. But many people are doing it and extremely powerful, extremely good compared to semaglutide and tirzepatide. So if you are using semaglutide or tirzepatide, you can just think about Reta also. Reta is still under clinical trial. It's not officially approved yet. So again, people will get confused with the dosing, side effects, etc. So provided you have enough knowledge, enough supervision, again, it's up to you, right? So Reta represents something very important. It shows us where obesity medicine is heading towards. Instead of just eating less, it's not about eating less. Now your increased energy expenditure, you can eat healthy and reduce your weight. So here you will see appetite reduction, at the same time insulin sensitivity, at the same time inflammation is controlled, fat metabolism is happening, and the energy expenditure. All of these are happening together, and that's why now the entire industry and the researchers believe that this is going to become the biggest breakthrough in the weight loss treatment. So again, of course, no peptide can permanently replace your lifestyle, but peptides can shape your and give you a new lifestyle also. If your lifestyle is bad, you start using Reta for 3 months and then you adapt to that lifestyle because your hunger will come down and you normally start working out also. After 3 months, if you can continue that lifestyle, you are going to get a fresh new lifestyle also. Reta can shape your lifestyle in one way. Proper nutrition is required, proper muscle strength training is required. So if you're taking means next day onwards, you have to start working out, and proper eating of protein, proper sleep, proper nutrition, long-term discipline. And suppose you start with Reta, you followed this for 3 months. If you can continue doing that for your lifetime, you improve yourself as a person also. The real goal is building a healthier, stronger, metabolically resilient body and not just weight loss, right? So if you enjoyed this video and you got some information from this, like the video, share it with your friends also, because I'll be discussing most of the peptides and I'll share the scientific knowledge. We'll discuss the fat loss science, we'll discuss performance enhancement and how to get a good body, beautiful body, anti-aging, recovery, muscle building, everything about evidence-based fitness. So see you in the next video. Thank you.